Last episode on sailing Millennial Falcon. We made a very unsuccessful downwind sail from Nevis to St Martin, during which we decided to make a detour to a small bay on the north side of St Bart's called Anse de Colombia, where we spent the day admiring super yachts and exploring below the surface, before continuing our journey to St Martin the following day.
On arrival, Adam was smitten by a gunboat, and after more than 6 months of hauling anchors, we finally had our new windlass.
At least half a day just to get the measurements right, figure out, just plan the installation properly. I'm not just going to tear it out. I need to test that it actually functions on arrival, so hook it up to a battery direct to see if it even turns before we go making a mess. But it's arrived. And if it does work, how much did we pay for that?
So for this windlass, we just went to Budget Marine today and they were selling it for $2,195. We got ours online through, I think it's something like Jimmy Green Marine, and it was in pounds, it was through England, so we had to get it shipped. Altogether it came to $1,200 US. So that's $1,000 difference. And the person who we spoke to yesterday, Jeff Armay, he did say that one of his mates had ordered a windlass from UK before, and it had arrived broken. So we're a little bit nervous about that. But if it doesn't arrive broken or anything, then hey, we would have got a windlass for $1,000 less than anywhere selling it here. So it's pretty good. And that's including shipping too. Adam just said including shipping. So yeah, including shipping too. By the way, we're totally not sponsored by that windlass place that I just said. Yeah, just in case anyone thinks, oh, so cheap because you got a great deal from there. No, I didn't. I just really did my homework. Okay, Adam is terrible at filming himself. So I will update you on his progress for this morning. He has taken our previous windlass out. Look at it. Here's the old girl. I think she's about 38 years old, same as the boat.
So this is the shaft that the Gypsy sits on. And if you can see there, that bolt is what holds the Gypsy onto the shaft, and everything on top of that, it all comes back to that one bolt. And it sheared off somewhere off Key West before we even left America, and we've been just limping around like this, using it before it completely gave up the ghost. We used to have to sort of have your palm against the Gypsy as it turns to stop it from walking off the shaft, which was ridiculous. It's so unsafe. But we limped around like that for a while, and then we had the motor redone because it died, and now it's just died again. So all the waterproofing has completely had it, and it's time to pronounce time of death and get a new one.
I did.
No, this is a cleat, but it would have been nice if you could put your finger through it. No.
I genuinely thought that there was a grab handle, I will admit.
It's a cleat.
Nah, it's a grab handle.
But I don't. It's not a grab handle. I think it's a cleat. Watch your step.
Watch out, there's a windlass there.
Yeah, I think it's a cleat, but then you would assume that that's then to put the snubber on, but like the notion of a snubber to me is to take the shock loading off of the windlass bolts, which is, you're just returning the shock loading to the windlass, thereby, I don't know, like it'll take the load off the Gypsy, but you're still putting a lot of load on those 4 bolts holding the windlass down. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we'll keep doing it the way we do it now.
Yes.
I've just cleaned up and pulled back all of the old sealant and all the caulking and all the rubbish that the mounting boards for the windlass were on upstairs in the anchor locker. And I've sort of, now that I've cleaned it all out and had a look at it and seen the daylight that's gleaming through,
so much space.
Yeah, there's a bit of a Swiss cheese situation going on in the roof of the anchor locker. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do it right, and I'm going to just not rebuild the floor, but I'm going to completely plug and reseal the whole floor, and then start over from scratch. I think I'm just going to build up a little core out of just, we've got some scrap wood floating around. I'll build a little core out of that and just sort of seal it from the bottom, and then I'll smear some thickened epoxy, probably like a silica micro balloon kind of thing like we did in the yard ages ago for the keel. Smear that on, sand it back flush, and then put a layer of finishing cloth or two over the top, and then we can, yeah, then we should have a nice hard rigid surface to drill fresh holes into and mount the new windlass properly. Just mixed up a little batch of thickened epoxy and silica, and I've also made up a little substitute core for the large hole that's in there, and I've sealed them up just with some gaffer tape on the back, but this is thick enough that it shouldn't drip through.
After mixing the resin, we then poured it into the holes and waited overnight for it to dry. Afterwards, we drilled the holes where the new windlass was going to be. Hey there, rock star! So I've come back to Adam just rocking out, and apparently this is what he does when I'm away.
That's how I get work done. It
Cat will play.
Gets you in the zone.
I've had an
See how
incredibly
distracted I am now?
I've had a really unsuccessful morning. Was meant to do washing, didn't work. Was meant to buy lights, didn't work. So I'm going back in there to do them with all the things that I need now. Meanwhile, Adam can carry on rocking his little heart out. What is your progress, Lockerbie?
So I'm exporting next week's episode because I ran out. Well, I did the sound balancing. I ran out of things to do because I've wired it up. Oh, come to the back. I'll show you. So I installed the solenoid.
Oh, wow.
I didn't have anyone to push the button while I switch it on here, and just to check that it's all right. And obviously the windlass is not like really secure, so I have to be around. Yeah, somebody's got to be nearby. And I was literally just about to use the digital camera on a tripod, recording it, pointing at this, and then I was going to run forward and just tap the button a couple of times and then run back and check the footage to see if it moved.
So
and just as I was about to sort of tell everyone that was my plan and go and check it out, you pulled up in the dinghy. So we should, we can test it.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah. Cross your fingers and toes. Super nervous. Oh, forgot to close the breaker.
It worked! It worked!
I heard screaming. I heard smiles.
Yeah! Look at it! Look at it go!
Was that an electrocution noise, or was that
That was a good one!
So it went off once and then it went off again?
Yes.
Good, that's both buttons.
Yeah.
Yay, it works! Yes!
Woohoo! We have a windlass again! I mean, not that it works like right now. Yay! Oh!
Alright.
Woo! Well done!
Complete.
Yes! You made us a windlass!
I made it. I wish I made it. Well
done.
Oh, thank God for that. I was super nervous I was going to cook it, or it didn't work, or got damaged in transport.
Oh, really?
Well, just...
Well, thank God you did it right.
Yes. Alright, so I can disconnect all this and install it on the deck. Yes.
You well and truly deserve a beer.
I drank them all. There's no cold ones left.
Am I in the way?
Coming in. Coming through. Hi. What are we talking about?
We were just starting to talk about our jobs. Alright, so today's job is to...
Morning, everyone.
Okay, so we need to get... How much wire? The thick anchor wire.
I don't know, I just got here. You'll tell the story.
Alright, so today's job is to get this thick wire that needs to attach to the windlass through the floorboards into no man's land, and then past me into this section here. Can I help you?
I'm eagerly listening, as is everyone else.
So underneath here is our V-berth where we're sitting, and there is no entrance from the floor of this all the way up to there. So we're gonna need to try and poke, prod, do anything we can to try and get this wire into that anchor locker there.
Let's go.
Oh.
It's gonna be I think I got a blister actually.
Already?
Starting to
Oh yeah.
blister.
Coffee burns.
Coffee injuries.
It's quite sad, isn't it? We've already done work. But yeah,
I was like drilling holes, cutting things, sanding things, pulling up wires all day. I had nothing but like one of those little peeled back cuticle things. Is that what that is?
yeah.
The skin. And then making coffee this morning, give myself 2nd-degree burns. Pouring a cup of coffee.
Okay, so we found one solution. We've obviously got two other wires that go from the windlass down to here. So we're going to pull them out with a piece of string on one end, and then when we find the string out this end, we'll take both of them back in and we'll pull the string through that end.
got it!
I got it.
Yay! Woo! Woohoo!
Lofrans, in their infinite wisdom, decided that this case would have 0 clearance for the wires that are designed. So that the clearance holes for the wires are under the motor and the attachment points are on top. And there's no thoroughfare, there's no like channel designed in for the appropriate gauge wire to go from there through to the breech holes and out into the boat. Did no one think that to just test the theory, like just look at it and be like, guys, like run it by the work experience kid maybe, he might have probably picked that up.
After much debating, we found a way to get the wires through. Then it was time. Alright baby, it's time. What is it time for?
So after 3 days of the powers that be conspiring against this project, whether it be crimp ends falling off the end of like 0 gauge wire, bolts not fitting, wire being like too short by like 6 inches, just all kinds of ridiculousness that required yet another trip to town to pick up bits. It's time to switch it on. So I just closed the breaker at the solenoid, on the hot side of the solenoid, and it didn't blow. So that tells me it's all wired up the right way around. I've got to power up the switches. Nothing's shorted in the switches because it's not starting, and now I've got to go upstairs.
Smokes, that's good.
Yeah, and we're going to go upstairs and push a button.
Okay.
And see what happens.
Alright, let's go.
Right. Yo.
And what about the other button?
Up goes backwards, so I've hooked it on the right route.
Oh my god!
Yes! Yes!
That's awesome!
Oh. Yes!
You did it!
Oh,
We
it's
were
not
winners
falling off.
again!
It's not anything. Ah. Look at it go!
A few days later, we decided to test the windlass and go for a sail. We have a new crew member aboard.
Hey!
Hey, Mika!
Oh, I thought it was me. Oh, you gotta kill the music.
Alright, don't know how our first windlass usage is going. Sounds like the chain is jumping on the Gypsy, so obviously not good, but Ads is being a bit quiet, so I think he's just chatting with Kenny up the front, and they're kind of like sorting out between themselves, but I don't know, so I'll just chill back here with my friend. Us girls will be hanging in the cockpit today and the boys will be working. Where are we going?
We're going to go east to probably Tintamarre. We're just taking the boat for a gallop, really. Kenny gave me some very quality advice and some help a lot of help to get the rigging taut the other day. And this is the first time we've been under sail. We just wanted to check that everything stays in column and as it should under sail. So it's a perfect day. We've got like 15 knots, flying a full canvas, nice and steady, flat seas. So yeah, we're just taking for a bit of a gallop up east to check out Tintamarre Island. The windlass test probably didn't go as well as I'd hoped, but it's alright. It functions, it's not the windlass's fault. Well, it's a bad angle, so it's just the way the hatch is built, really, if I'm honest. It's not a good, like the chain comes in on an angle and then it goes round the Gypsy, so you're losing surface area on the Gypsy for the chain, so it pops off all the time. So the windlass needs to be on an angle, but then if it's not low enough in the hatch, it hits the roof. So yeah, it's a very small area to work with to install the windlass. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that.
Tonight, but you don't seem to forget about yourself. Wondering how it could go so wrong, but you didn't call for help. But let me tell you about the dreams and the schemes and the story. Flowers on the birch and leaves and all the lights on the fence.
Like this song.
We arrived here at Tintamarre Island and we're just going to go and explore.
I'm breathing out. So here's a reminder to look at life that's pouring into you. And so my friend, let me tell you once again, and you know that it's true. Forget about seeing it or hearing it, in the end you must feel. Forget about all you know, you need to go, it's okay to let go.
In the end, I managed to solve the jumping Gypsy issue by using a small $40 bow roller to pull the chain down upon entering the locker. It's an imperfect solution, I know, but months later it's still going strong.
So on your really thrilling Friday night ads, what are we doing?
You sit at home, you send a message back home to the boys, like, hey guys, what are you doing? How are you spending your Friday night? Oh, nothing much, mate. Just watching some Netflix with my friend or my girlfriend, or I might go down the pub, have a few beers. Oh, what are you doing? It must be living the dream. Oh, well, spent the night in the V-berth under a luminescent light stripping apart an old windlass motor so I can take the electric motor out, strap it to my fridge compressor, which the belt's broken for, so that we can get a freezer. See you on Monday.